Hi, Dr. Robin here. Today we're going to be talking about physical versus chemical changes. This is always presented at the beginning of chemistry textbooks, and that's why we're talking about it now. But to really understand a physical change versus a chemical change, you kind of have to have a good understanding of physics and chemistry. So it's kind of a chicken or egg problem. Nonetheless, I will do my best to explain the difference here. Number one, physical change is a change in form, in what something looks like, to a certain extent how it behaves, not completely though. Number two, our chemical change is going to be a change in what something is actually made of. And again, if you don't understand chemistry, it may be a little hard to differentiate between these two. So for example, water. You take water and you stick it in the freezer and you're going to get ice. And water and ice behave differently. You can pour water. You can't quite pour ice the same way. Ice seems different than water, but on a chemical level, it's not. So maybe that's not the world's best example. Let's think instead about something else you might be familiar with. Food.
I've cut the sandwich into two different halves, so we can use one as the control, if you will, the one that's not being subjected to physical or chemical changes. And then the other one I'm going to do things to. The first thing I'm going to do is a physical change, which in this case I'm just going to squish it. Like might happen if you put in your book bag and got a little squished. Yeah, it didn't squish very well, so I'm cutting off the edges and I'll squish it a little more. But this would be an example of a physical change. If you look at the difference between the physically changed sandwich, the squished sandwich, and our control sandwich, you see that they're both peanut butter sandwiches. They both have bread parts and peanut parts and jam parts. But what would a chemical change look like? To figure that out, let's move locations.
Serbs, come here. Serbs, come. Oh, do you want a treat?
Okay, this doesn't actually show a chemical change taking place, but it's the beginning of the chemical change, right? The sandwich goes into the dog and stuff starts to happen.
So going back to our control group, peanut butter sandwich, no physical change, no chemical change. Okay. If you compare it with, well, I have to throw a picture up because the physical change sandwich is now gone. You can see that there is a difference in form. But now, compared to after the chemical change, okay, it's not a picture of what it actually looks like coming out the other end, but if you think about what it does look like, you'll know it's definitely not the same thing. There will be nothing in there that you could say is still bread. There would be nothing in there that still looks like jam or peanut butter. Like, best you're going to get is maybe a bit of undigested peanut. But for the most part, it has transformed into something completely different. That is a chemical change. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.